Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Integration Quest MuleSoft study group. Today, we have Vincent with us today, and he is going to be challenging us. He's going to be taking our mind away from application networks a little bit, going into model network, and seeing how all of this new AI stuff can be implemented into what we do. So, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Vincent. Appreciate you sharing and presenting. Oops, going a little too far. All right, so I wanted to show you all the Integration Quest code of conduct. Everybody's been doing great. They're doing what we should be doing, which is just to do what our mom and dad would have wanted us to do, and we're just going to keep that great record going. The next thing I want to show you all is the library. So all of these videos that we do get archived. They're recorded, they're archived, and you can go out there at these links and you can subscribe on YouTube and get a notification every time we drop a new video. It's pretty much once a week here lately. Sometimes we have to take a break because things are just happening, but we've been really going strong at it. And the reason we do that is because we want to help. We want to help and give back to the community and do everything we can to give you all information that you all find useful. So while you're there, don't just subscribe. Also, leave a comment and reach out to us if you have a special request and would like to see something done. We can make that happen. We literally have that happening in a few weeks. We had a special request. I'm going to cover that at the end of today's study group. But we've got a special request coming up. So thank you for that, Suma. Shout out to you. Thank you for a special request on that. So I'm going to go ahead and just intro Vincent here. And like I always do, I don't read this slide to you. I want to show you all just all the stuff that he's been doing. He's been doing this because he's passionate about it. He's wanting to come here today and give back. And that's what means something to us. We're so thankful that he's willing to do that. Thank you so much for coming here and being with us today. I'm going to stop talking so he can do that. And as I always do, everybody, you all please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'm going to keep an eye on that chat, and we're going to ask questions as we go, just to let Vincent know we're not over here just sleeping. I'll come on camera and pop my hand up and ask questions as we go. So take it away. Thank you for being here, Vincent.
A quick shout out about Vincent. Vincent is the instructor that qualified me as a Salesforce certified instructor. We were called MuleSoft certified instructors then. Wow. So shout out to Vincent for his great leadership and really all that he gave me to be who I am today as far as an instructor is concerned.
There you go. That's awesome. Shout out. Affecting lives.
Okay, yeah. Two things. First of all, by this time, Diane is a way better instructor than I am. I've watched her work. I knew that was going to be the way it would be. And so you can say whatever you want, how we got started, but really we just became friends, and then she became an amazing instructor. So
no, thank you. And I appreciate your friendship and you set me on the right path. So I appreciate that for sure.
Well,
but great to have you here with us, Vincent. We always love to hang out together anyway, because we are friends, and I appreciate that as well. And so all you, Vincent, what you got to share?
All right. Well, first of all, that slide there, the last thing it said on it is something about a book I wrote a long time ago. One of my students looked it up while we were having a class recently, and I was like teaching. I mentioned, oh, back in the day, I wrote this book, whatever. So while I'm teaching, he's busy Googling to find it, and he was able to buy it for $2.98. Remainder.
Where is it? What book is it? I missed that. How did I miss that one?
You got $2.98? You can have one. I actually tried to go buy all of them off the market so I could run the price up.
I want a signed copy of it.
Yeah,
I'll have to get it and get you to sign it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I may be able to hook you up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that. And thanks for all of it. So a little bit, almost nothing about me really, you guys, but just I want to set the context. I teach for MuleSoft, for Salesforce Trailhead Academy, and I teach mostly the MuleSoft and the emerging Agentforce curriculum. And I've been doing that for a while, and it makes me happy because I see the difference it makes to people's organizations when they adopt this approach and they really embrace it, and then things change. And that's how it's been for a long time at MuleSoft. Now we live in the agentic age, right? We went from we went from AI hype in 2022, during which I made a sticker that said AI Insight based on the Intel logo. And my AI agent fought me the whole way. It said, "Are you sure you want to do this? There might be some copyright issues." I'm like, "Just make the darn image, would you please?" And finally it did. And I put one of those on my refrigerator and my toaster and my washing machine, because that's what we were doing in 2022. Everything had AI inside, right? Then we went through a period of disillusionment. And people said, "Okay, yeah, this AI stuff, well, I don't know." And there was a survey that Microsoft did. And what they discovered, or what they concluded in the survey, was that 75% of the workforce had tried AI and then abandoned it and said, "Oh, this is just like Clippy," right? 75% of the workforce. And that was the result of the survey. Nate Jones, who talks about AI and writes about it all the time, he postulated that the reason for that is that we didn't bother to train anybody into what he called the 200 series of knowledge, right? Everybody get the 100 series. Here's how you prompt. Here's how you talk to the AI chatbot. And then we didn't get any new skills. And there were people like forward people that are those frontier players were adopting and like absorbing all of this and getting it all inside themselves. And they were learning advanced skills we call the 400 series skills, your graduate level skills, right? But we weren't doing anything about the place in between. And we're still kind of stuck in that. And that's the world we live in right now. But the point I want to make is that when we think about what's going to happen next, you have project managers vibe coding things and people discovering, what can I do with Claude Code? And all these things are happening. And it's really a recipe for incredible chaos, right? But at MuleSoft, we've already been through that, because when we first started enabling citizen integrators, people that didn't have like programming skills, but they could build things that satisfied their needs, we realized that's going to be a recipe for chaos. And so we built the whole API management structure, and we built the fabric that you can use to manage it rationally. And so now in this agentic age, we're ready for what's going to happen. We're ready for this chaos. And what I want to do today is talk about that a little bit. And then I want to invite you into an experience that will have you go hands-on and actually build some things for yourself. And so I want to start with settling us back. I want to talk and set the framework of what do we mean at MuleSoft when we say the application network, right? And I know a lot of you guys know this. Some of you are certified Mule developers. You had to learn all this, right? So what I'd like to do is right now, I don't know, how can we raise our hands here? That's going to get us to raise our hands. How many of you have been through the MuleSoft certification process? And RJ is going to help us here. Tell us.
Yeah, we can do what I have done in the past, Vincent, with that is ask people to put a message in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. So
here we go. This is my question to you to answer in chat. Okay. How many of you have certified as a level, MuleSoft level 1 developer? Just say yes in the chat. Let me see what I can learn from that.
Put it in the chat or come on camera and raise a hand.
Yeah, Bubakar, yes.
Oh, yeah. Evan says yes. Hey, guys. I'll even type yes.
Yeah, because you are, RJ.
I spelled somebody's name wrong, so I'm able to type yes, thankfully.
All right.
Bye, Effa. I didn't mean to spell your name wrong. All right. So yeah, it looks like a lot of people.
Yeah, it's good, and that's so we're going to build on that foundation. And what I want to do is introduce a concept that will give us an opportunity to see the application network in action. So first, let's talk about, what do I mean? What am I talking about when I say application network? And if you give me just one moment, I will find the window. That helps. Yeah. Here you go, babe. Probably that actually didn't help, did it? All right. So the principle of the application network is simply this, where we create a constellation of IT assets. That means some programs, documentation, all the things you need in IT. And we create this network, this constellation, in which each element is discoverable and it's available for self-service by my developers. And each one presents an API so that it can be activated by another machine. Everybody's discoverable and available for self-service, and each one presents an API. Then we organize these to create a separation of concerns. The lowest layer, the system layer, solves this problem that I call Vincent's law of effort. Okay, yes, it's true. I made up a law and then I named it after myself. And I know. But I was really hoping somebody would get me a star for my birthday, and that didn't happen. So I had to do something. So we have the application network, and the system layer of our application network illustrates Vincent's law of effort. And that law is this: the act of liberating the data from your own business systems is 90% of any job. Getting the data out of your own business system. Look, how many times did you have to log in today to get to go do what you're doing? Sometimes I log in 12 times just to get set up for a class. 2 computers, lots of challenges. Okay, now I'm going to send a code to your email. That's just a personal problem, right? What about at an enterprise level? I want to get data out of SAP and Salesforce and my e-commerce system and my logistics systems. That's a lot of churn. And that's a lot of the work. And then the rest of this stuff, getting you to an outcome, that's the other 90% of the job. So that's the world we've lived in, right? I go around all the time and I hear people say, oh, hey, I had a great time in class. I learned a lot. Can you help me with this? I'm trying to get started. And what they want me to help with is my database isn't set up. I don't have credentials. So I can't do anything about that, right? Or it is set up. That's worse. And I don't have credentials. 90% of the job is breaking out the data from its source. And once you solve that, and if you solve it well one time, then all the rest of your projects are only 90% of the effort, right? And this leads to reusability. So as we proceed and we make up new ideas of what we want to accomplish, thank you if you don't mind, we simply build new APIs and we organize them and they can talk to each other. And the way we do this, when we create these assets, they self-document, right? If you do a good job with API design, if you write the specification well, it's documented already. You can add stuff, but it will be fully documented. And that helps out a lot. And then we get to this problem. And the problem is, okay, but this data, the stuff that's hidden in here, one reason it's hard to get to is I don't want to be sharing that. I want to be spreading it all around and having people check it out, look it over. Oh, that's interesting. No, we can't do that. But this isn't how to solve it, make it difficult for us to use it, right? But we have to protect it. And so when it comes to the world of protection, you say, okay, well, we'll have these rules. Also, because of my industry, I have these compliance measures I have to use. So I'm going to do that. And we want to be able to be sure that whatever it is we do in here is safe and within our boundaries for compliance, right? So rather than have each developer who builds each thing hold that responsibility, what we do is we overlay this whole structure with an administrative artifice that applies those policies for compliance and security and quality of service and threat denial. We overlay all of these with a uniform structure. So we apply it once these things are in action, right? And so now I can audit this network and I can insert with with confidence. We are within compliance for our industry. We have everything's encrypted end to end, and no, there's no leakage of personal data that comes out the top of this thing. We have a way to manage this now. And that's the magic of what MuleSoft does for the companies that are using this. It allows for certainty that the measures for security on any one of these assets is the same as for all the others. If I need to tweak it, I tweak it, and everybody gets the benefit. Application network, right? So this is what we advocate for building. But you know what? Anytime you've come to a class with us, and I'm not talking about with Integration Quest, they may give you sometimes more than I do, but anytime you come to a class with us, we talk about this, but we can't show you the whole thing in action. We can't. We just don't have a good way to do it. So what I proposed was that we could assemble a model application network. And in doing so, we can use that to observe the mechanisms for safety and operation with integrity. And also we can explore some of the other things that are coming along the pipe, like how are we going to be interacting now in this agentic age with MCP servers and with the Agentforce fabric that allows us to work inside Salesforce and utilize the services of Einstein to get things done in our work, right? How are we going to get to that? So I have a little something to show you, and this may be a little scary. Let's see. Oh, I have to share differently though. 1 second. What do you call? There you are. Are you the one? Yes. Oh, did I lose my share?
Yeah.
Can you?
Try it again. Try it again.
It came on and then it went away.
Oh, yeah. That's what that red X does when you touch the red X.
Do it. You got it. It's showing.
Yeah. All right, good. Okay. Now, my colleague, Scott Silbernick, actually did a formal drawing of this, but this feels right to me. So this is what we're going to talk about. So the idea here was this: to create a system using 9 APIs, 4 system APIs, 3 process APIs, 2 experience APIs, right? And do it in a way that has no external dependencies. So although you see in this diagram, you see this composite DB SAPI appears to access a database, in truth, the implementation for this is intended to have all of the data internally, okay? Or at most to back data to an object store, right? In a transient way. So the idea is we don't want any external dependencies. If you run the pieces of this network, and by the way, 9 means that you can run all of these APIs in a MuleSoft developer trial account, because you have 10 slots and as long as you're not running anything real heavy, you can use 1/10 of a vCore all the way through. So you can fit this into a developer trial account, right? And then the idea here is that for those of you who are veterans of the certification process, you've been through this course where we take some different APIs. One's a SOAP API, one's a REST API, and something else, and we combine all the data together. And it gives us a foundation for a lot of the courses that we teach, actually. And so the idea here is, again, the United API it's not external. You don't access it through a network connection. This API, its implementation simply has that data embedded within it, the same with Delta. And then the composite database SAPI encapsulates both the American Flights API, which again, all of these have tiny data sets, right? 16, 12, 14 records or something, which is why you can just encapsulate them and create them to work by themselves. Then the beacon SAPI, this is the wild card in this network. The intention initially is for us to build it in a way that injects events by calling the customer PAPI and say, hey, I got a new customer, or I need to change this guy's postal code, or whatever it is happens in the network, right? So this is a scheduler-driven, basically, sort of I don't want to call it an agent because we now have really utilized that term, but the idea is it runs on schedule. It has a workload, and every once in a while the workload comes up. It does something to the network so we can observe how events act in the network. Okay, the process layer is pretty straightforward. You have flights, you have customers, and you have status. This is where you can do things like, by the way, this is where you could also utilize endpoints that allow you to take down a service or restart a service or inject, administrative layer actions into the network. Because here's the idea. You can imagine this, you can build it, you can specify, you can do all the pieces of what it takes to build this, but being able to monitor it, this is where the MuleSoft Anypoint Platform Visualizer would come in. And so the principle is that instead of trying to guess when this failed, where did it fail here? Did it fail here or over here? I don't know. It just looking through the logs on this may not tell me. So the visualizer allows us to think of this in a whole or organic way. And in doing so, we can say, oh yeah, the reason this is failing is because this composite DB system API is not, it's down now, That's better than just a 504, right? Or 503. I can actually, as the administrator, I can tell where the issue is, and I can go do some forensics and move on to the next stage. So this is the concept. And what exists right now is a series of specifications. This is the APIs, they're partially or completely filled specifications here. The hope is that this gives us a framework to take on hands-on activities, to take on labs that we can do collaboratively or individually, and deepen our understanding of how application network works. And that leads us into the world of how will I build my application network so that it interacts with the agents that we're going to start wanting to insert into this model, right? We want to start looking at, okay, how will we do this, and how will we expose these, and will an agent actually come to my system layer APIs and activate them directly? Will I only use the experience layer APIs? Will I have to build an experience API for my agents? These are all the questions you're going to be answering in the times that come. So this is our foundation. This is what we want to build. Now, let me show you. Now I'm afraid to touch any controls. I'm like, is that from PowerPoint, or is that from networking or whatever? So let me give you a little, first of all, in chat, give you this. Chat.
Did you also see in the chat I said we will find you a star?
Yes, I did, Diane. I'm counting on that. My birthday's next week, so you got to get busy real quick.
Wow. Well, happy birthday early.
Thank you. Where'd you go, babe? Okay, tab is fine. All right. So what I just gave you is a link here to a more detailed description of this idea for the model network. Okay. So you guys, you actually know a lot of the stuff that's in here. I'm just re-preaching the concept, but this leads to, okay, here's what we're going to do: build this model network. And this is my starting place to have us be there. Now, I have another URL to share with you And this will be useful to you if you choose to be interested in participating in building this thing out. Okay. So what I've done is I've built a repo, and I'll bring it back on the screen now. Actually, more than a repo, it's an organization. That's what we do now. We do organizations, right? And this organization has 9 repos. Although, why does it have 9? Because I noticed one was missing. Oh, because you have in an organization, you have like a home repo where you put your README and stuff. So this organization hosts the repos for these specifications. And the idea here is this. It is at the state it is right now, and we're going to kind of leave it there for the moment. But together, we're going to cobble up a scheme that will allow us to set up workshops in which we'll take on specific parts of building this out, whether it be, oh, look, this is an anemic API, or it's an anemic spec because it doesn't have anything going on in it. We need to flesh it out. Or it could be that we say, oh, all these are REMLs, and we need them really to be OAS specs. And so we do a workshop and say, how long would it take us? By the way, this is for any of you who are right now coming to grips with Claude Code and looking for a project to really dump on it that you can do, this is an excellent candidate, because these specs, they have enough in them to give an idea what to do, but there's still a lot of work to do and a lot of things you can accomplish. So that might even be our focus. We come together, and some people use Cursor, some people use Claude, whatever you want to do, and just see what do you make out of this. We're doing something like that, you guys, in my own team at work at Trailhead Academy. We have a challenge among the instructors and the course developers, and the question is, what could you build in 16 hours with Claude Code? Just go crazy. And that's a delight, really, for me. First of all, they're paying the bill, right? And they are. And so that's the kind of thing we're into right now, the things that are really driving us. So you see the APIs from the cartoon model I showed you a minute ago. And several of these really are anemic. Like, there's nothing much in the kiosk right now. One that's missing is the mobile API. There should be a mobile Zappy. I call it a Zappy. And this should also get its name fixed. So this is the foundation. This is the playground that we can use for this idea. Okay. All right. Now, I want to inject our conversation with some perspective from the ground, like things you guys have seen in the work that you do, right? And so, Diane, I'm going to pick on you right away because you're here and it's not safe. So here you are. And
I'm game. You go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to tell me. In places where you've been, engagements you've been on, where have you seen dramatic results that people have achieved by deciding to build the application network?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Clients to where they were doing a lot. Do you want specifics, or do you want high level? High level,
just high level. Do that. Yeah, the story that we. Yeah, go ahead.
Like where people are manually, running their business processes, like from one system. They may get data from one system, then they've got to maybe create a report, and then they have to take that data and move that data into another application. So sometimes they're copy pasting over. Most of the time they're copy pasting. Sometimes they're actually physically typing. And having to do this manual labor of like checking, did anything change, updating it if it did, keeping up with all of that. And it's not only tedious but time consuming. So manual processes. And then if you have a team, let's say, oh great, the business has expanded and now we've got even more work for you to do. And then that means that not only your workload is increased, but now you got to maybe train other people this manual, tedious process. And so coming in there and doing like automation through a lot of that is so impressive. And when it works the way it's supposed to work, and I share that because unfortunately sometimes we've come in behind other work that isn't working as it should, they tried and it didn't work. And, that to me is some of the biggest turnarounds, of a red account, we call it. And so seeing the expression on their face when things are like working as they should, wow, you hear it's magic, you hear, oh my gosh, you guys are superheroes. And, they're just so incredibly impressed, because then they are in turn seeing them do some kind of functionality or business process on platform A, and zip, it's over on B already. They don't need to do anything like that anymore. It populated, but that means down underneath, under the hood is where we have taken and done the integrations and mapped the data. And, so that wow experience, you just can't even put a price tag on that. And then, talking to new customers, even in pre-sales, because I do a lot of pre-sale work. I'm called upon a lot just to kind of be in the room and hear what's happening and hearing their pain points. At the root of their life, their work is painful.
It is.
And data is wrong. It's not synced. Platform A has data. Platform B never gets that data. They're running on bad information. I mean, how many times has this ever happened to you that you were misunderstood something? I got a funny story. I'll share this funny story with you. And it was someone in the room that was impacted, or that was part of this. Anyway, it was during the birth of RJ. I had a C-section. My husband was in the room. I was knocked out. Well, he told me that all of my innards were taken out and the baby was taken out and they put all my innards back in. Okay, so now I'm like running with bad data. I was running with bad data at that point because I'm like, for real, no wonder I hurt so bad. They had my intestines slung over on this side. It was like in my mind, I visualized all this. So when you're running with bad data and you turn around and start using that bad data, then you become an idiot because I'm sharing a story with someone else. My husband's over there laughing at the story, because he's thinking I bought into his story. And I'm like, well, I had bad data, so it comes down to the fact that it's even worse in a business environment, obviously, because then your statistics are wrong, your KPIs are wrong. It's bad, right? It's bad. So we need to make sure that our portion of the integration side, when we are integrating with whatever those systems are, that we're pulling that data up, we're bringing it to a place where we can hit a process API that moves that data, that we make those integrations happen, and then the automation and the data is accurate. Now, we can't vouch for the fact that the data from our source is accurate.
The data is still going to be, but we can move it for you is the thing.
Yeah. So, bad data in, bad data out kind of a thing. So, we in consulting, which is the beautiful part of what we do, is we talk about that, because oftentimes, true stories, you're going to have like systems A, B, and C, and you're going to have system APIs A, B, and C. And then some of that may be legacy data that needs to be treated as such, like, oh, wait, if there's newer information, anyway, there's all kind of stuff that you have to filter through to make sure you're, moving it all in accurately. So anyway, that's my story.
Probably a lot of what you built too was concerned with sanitizing the data along its path, right?
Absolutely.
Opportunities to identify conditions that are really, obvious and kick those for repair.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing I take from your story, Diane, is that a lot of us are married to bad data. Literally.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
Company or people, whatever, it's just a thing. And to be fair, that's not really going to change. The only thing that really has changed is that we have more rational processes for identifying and dealing with it.
Yeah.
And if we do our work right, yeah. I'm gonna pick on Ryan too. So Ryan, we're talking about application network and how it empowers the organizations that embrace that, right? What have you seen? Like, what's a dramatic example of the case where someone said, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and now I'm super happy.
You're looking for a success story.
Yeah.
They're so humble, because it just seems normal. So I'm working. I was late because I was at a client, and it was just built kind of the normal application network way with assets on the exchange and system APIs and experience APIs, and it doesn't seem awesome. It just doesn't. They don't know the pain that they're not having. They're just, oh, we need to go work with this. So there's a SharePoint integration, and there's an internal system that there's this other integration, and it's just like, oh, there's a problem with the SharePoint thing. Let's go look at it. And there's graphs and monitoring, and you can see that it's been down for 2 weeks because it's just, when you have nice things, it's like if you live in a city and there's a good subway, you're just kind of used to it. Mm-hmm. But I live in Oklahoma City and there is no subway here, and it's a big pain. I had to take a lift to get from down the road to here, right? Because I didn't have my car. It's really noticeable when you don't have a subway, right? So
like you could be, my foot is nailed to the floor, but I'm okay just going in small circles, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but I just have to, when I want to talk to my buddy, I have to. But that's what we do, and you make a standard operating procedure and a SharePoint page describing how to hobble around with your foot stuck to the floor. Yeah. And have good procedures about replacing your shoes because of the hole, because of the nail, and that's what. But that you'd be surprised. People get used to whatever they have.
I know, it's true,
right?
It's true.
And then it's nice for someone to come in and show them a breath of fresh air. Like, it doesn't have to be that bad. Like I want you, it was like this when we went from outhouses to bathrooms. Right. Because everybody had outhouses. It's like, I want to have that in my house. Are you serious? Like,
that seems unsavory.
I would never want to put that in my house. Right? And then somebody goes to somebody else's house and they're like, wow. Right. Yeah. So exactly. It is, Diane, it is a blessing of consulting that I get to visit so many houses.
Yeah, it's true.
And see how they're laid out, and how some of them are messy and some of them are clean. And I think application network adoption, what I like about not application network as the vision as much as just the API-led connectivity way of life, is that you can kind of make it a little better right now on this little thing that I'm doing. And I just put a little API spec up in the exchange. You guys didn't. There's this. It's free when you buy MuleSoft. You have the exchange. I know you're not logging into it too often, but maybe in the meeting I'll pull up my screen and I'll log into it myself and I'll click through and and look, and I'll get an any point monitoring and I'll show a little graph and be like, look at that. Nope, it's definitely not slow. Right? You guys are thinking it's not slow here. You know what I mean? Because I can see it because I have an API that I put there without. It was like in the old days, I used to do test-driven development without asking. And there was 15, 20 years ago, it was a big drama about like getting your client to let you to do tests. Right. Yeah. Sell them on it. And I didn't even bother. I just did it. And then they and they were happy with the results. API specs and clean software modularization, API-led connectivity and application networks are not only about MuleSoft.
I know.
They're about this stuff. They're about software architecture design. They're how do I want to break my stuff up into clean things that have their own responsibilities and say what they are and have a documentation page. It's just mature software design.
It really is. And a lot of people, when you hold that thing up, they do this. They make the sign of the cross. Microservices. And it's just because we took something beautiful and then we recklessly tried to paint everything with it. And what ended up was chaos. And the idea of the application network is to apply order to that chaos, right?
Can you imagine in the early 1900s if everybody just got 100 million cars in the United States?
Right.
And there's no roads and there's no interstates, and there's no laws about it, and you don't have to have seatbelts, and just there was just 100 million cars. No one would have wanted a car ever,
Yeah.
right? But
That's
if you're going to
true.
build microservices, you have to have a way for them to talk to each other, and
Right.
some rules and regulations that we follow at scale, and then they're nice, right? But if you just put a bunch of cars in the middle of the desert, good luck. See what happens.
Yeah, that's called San Francisco now. Waymo.
Yeah.
So, but
I hope I
you're
answered
absolutely
something
right.
like you were asking.
What's that?
I hope I didn't go too far off topic.
No. This is the whole idea. What we're looking at is this. Here's the thesis. MuleSoft built this structure to help us bring order to the chaos of microservices, and we call it API-led connectivity, and we call it the application network. And now we're facing this age of enormous chaos coming from vibe coders and agent. I can make an agent with 3 clicks of a mouse. And that's going to be chaos. But we at MuleSoft came prepared for that chaos. That's why you went from having runtime fabric. We said, oh, we can have an agent fabric too, because we can. We've been fighting this fight, and so we were ready for this, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, I'm not here to advocate for MuleSoft. I do love MuleSoft, and they feed me okay. But the real thing is a useful, productive way for us to conduct our enterprise IT operations. How do we get to the next phase of that, right? And especially now where every single day you go over to YouTube and suddenly this changes everything. Whatever happened in the last 20 minutes changes everything. So we went from everybody should learn about prompting to prompting is dead. Now it's context. And now context is dead. It's something different, right? We inside that world of hyperbole and outrage sometimes, all these things. There has to be a way for us to apply order, because
I like the perspective you just brought to it with the application network, model network thing. I clicked on your links you had in the chat. Mm-hmm. Because there's an attitude that MuleSoft brought to microservices, and not just microservices, just to enterprise IT, mm-hmm. about owning things, about me being responsible for systems that are made up of a bunch of parts that I got to take care of in a mature and responsible way. Right. Mm-hmm. That is kind of API management and API-led connectivity are about. They're inspired by one source of inspiration is this intention we have to try to do it right, to try to be responsible for all this technology in a way that not only works because of the Catalyst pillars thing, and not only works for me now, but if I leave, you guys can keep taking care of it too. Like that collective ownership of technology, right? Mm-hmm. Models and agents are at very great risk of each individual person being super creative and making all these nice things and just blasting it into the enterprise. And there's I think some of this, and I don't think it's going to look the same, but some of the same practices and technology assets like a catalog are going to be very important, so that mm-hmm. when I blast 30 agents into your company and walk out the door, you actually get to use them, right? Maybe you can keep them and enhance them yourself. I mean, wouldn't that be nice, right?
Sorry, I'm going through something now when I think about that. Like, hey, it's been nice knowing you. Have fun with your new agents.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have to organize it, right? But here's what I'm proposing here. I'm not attacking that problem just yet. What I'm proposing is that we take this foundation between this GitHub organization, these pieces, and we begin to engage with it by building some workshops around it. So if you look at the GitHub organization, there's 9 repos there, and they're at varying degrees of completion. Do you not see that?
One repo. Are they private?
No, when you look at an organization, the repos are I'm sorry, you're totally right. Well, and I thought to myself, be sure you open those before this session. So I have to go open the repos.
This is it. No, guys, this is like when they cut the ribbon in front of a business, the grand.
Yeah,
this is it.
It's a hole
This
in
is
the ground.
moment.
What are you doing? Hold on. Okay.
It's opening for business. You guys here, Pankaj and RJ and Evan are, and Bayappa too. You guys are at the grand opening of Model Networkers.
Yeah, because one of the things that I thought would be an interesting question, and when I find out how to, so it's under. I'm just going to turn one on if I.
This happens to what just happened to your speech, Vincent. It happens to me if I have an agent that I'm working with up, and I'm talking to somebody, and the agent asks me, because it'll ask me real questions. If I'll trail off, I'll be like talking to them and like, and then I'm just like reading this very long, profound thing that I have to answer. It's like, so I have had, and we had a meeting at an AI group last night about this. I've had to build personal disciplines about not using agents, or only using one at a time, or zero during a meeting, right? Otherwise, my attention will go down the tubes. Right into, because some agent I'm working with grabs all my attention. You know what I mean?
It's first of all, thank you for sharing that, because I'm really interested in hearing what happens to people in real life when they try doing these things, right? And also, I know that effect. I have a friend, I think you might know him too, but when I would call him and we'd be talking on the phone, suddenly he would just trail off and mutter, like, "Come on, man, I'm on the phone here with you." And I'm on the phone with you guys, so I'm going to quit messing around with it. Yeah, distracted by age.
Well, you're launching Model Networkers. You could share your screen and do it in front of us, and we could have a celebration.
Well, okay, you might have to guide me here. So you're going to take over my usual role of, okay, no, lower, go to the lower.
Well, I have to say, I have taught Claude. I gave it access to my GitHub, and so now if I wanted to make 9 repositories public, I would say make 9 repositories public, and it would go brrr, and it would do it.
I know I haven't got that far. I'm going to confess to you guys right now. We're crazy for Claude Code at my company. They bought a boatload of it, and they want everybody trying it. All the administrators, the project managers, everybody out there. And I just finished putting it on my work system yesterday. I didn't want to tell anybody because we're supposed to all be elbow deep in it. And okay, hold on a second. I have a better way to get this.
Yeah. By hand is still better. I'm having to pull back on my Claude user. I want to still know how to do things myself.
Yeah, well, that's what Plan is good for. And I'll tell you something else I do. I'll go to Gemini and I'll have a conversation there. What should I do? What technology stack should I choose? What are the benefits? After I get through that, I'll say, now write me a prompt for Claude to build this thing, right? And this might work. Okay, yeah, here's my Model Networkers group. And you're right, the only one that probably came through is .github, right? So what I don't know how to do on the fly is unlock these things, because I just worked out how to build them. But is it here, you think?
Mule United Airports. Yeah, settings, and then you go to all the way, scroll way down, scroll more, it'll be red. Scroll red. It's in there somewhere. Change visibility. There it is.
Okay.
If you're ready, you're about to unveil it to the public. Drum roll, please, everybody.
All right.
Here we go. Ta-da! Oh no!
No.
Man, you're so close. You're so close.
Oh, you're kidding me.
9 times, Vincent. It's going to take 9 times.
I know. I had to say that, but you know what? Whether I say it or not, it's going to happen to me, you know?
I added, today I had that trouble, and I added a fingerprint on I went and logged into the right part of GitHub, and I put my fingerprint, because I was so tired of using my phone for the passkey. So I went and finally added the easy one.
You know, here's the thing. I have a local passkey here on my system, but I think it might be for another user persona. I don't know.
So your vision for all these repos is like an example application network?
Yeah. Look here. Let me show you the cartoon version again.
Because you and one we need to have Juan Cruz Basso on here and Felipe, because they are building Riot Express for that same kind of. But I don't think it's for models. I think it's more. Theirs is like an Uber thing, but it's the same kind of. They want to have an example thing that do talks about, you know.
Okay, so
should
let
put a
me
link
give
here.
you this vision one more time. And here's the shareability and you. So
Oh my gosh, there's a real company in India
Oh.
now. I have
There's
to
a
tell
what?
them about that. This was the launch of it. I'm putting it in the chat. It's something similar to what you're doing, but you're doing Mule United Airports. They're doing a ride company.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I just found out the name of their ride company is now taken in India. It's a real
Oh,
company.
oh, I see. So yeah, we gotta put up some protections around cloud kicks because that's just too irresistible not to be.
So you got two experience APIs, one for the kiosk, one for mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
it kind of cut off at the bottom.
Yeah, it does because the way I'm sharing it, I don't know if I can full screen it. But the key here is this: every one of these APIs is self-contained, no external dependencies. So if you simply grab these implementations, you can wire them together. You could use a MuleSoft developer trial account and run all of these because there's 9 and still got a slot left. And
so I'm finding what we should add to this. We should add an MCP. So at the top level, and it would be an Agent X API.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's just the same thing, right?
In fact, you can just
plugs
replace
into the
this.
rest.
Nothing built here yet. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That will be ideal. And then you have basically the composite database SAPI encapsulates the American data, the American flights data, as well as a customer data set. And so each of these system level APIs actually has no external dependencies. They just encapsulate the sample data that we use. The beacon is the wild card. It runs on a scheduler and will inject events from time to time, like change this guy's zip code, change the date of this flight or the price of this flight. So we can inject events in, and then the status process API, in addition to giving the obvious usual things, it also has an endpoint that allows you to signal one of these APIs to go down so that you can observe the effect of the failure.
Oh, that's cool. I love resilience stuff like that. That's great.
Well, the long con here is to have a system that we can use so we can observe and work with the visualizer, the network visualizer.
Oh, cool.
So this is our starting place. And what I have so far is this is what it looks like to me. And I'll get the rest of these public in just a little while. But what it looks like to me is I have these 9 APIs, and really, no, I did not see that. Can you just go back? There's a list. So these 9 APIs these specs are at various levels of completion. And so we could very easily say, okay, we're going to have a work session day, and we'll pick out a day. We'll take 3 hours, form up into teams, and attack one of these or several of these and see what happens to us, right? So there are some of these APIs need to be further articulated. Only one of them has an implementation, and it's trivial right now. So another work session could be we are going to implement one of these, right? And
RJ,
that's our opportunity.
I think if we could get interest, if we could get some people to pre-commit to come for even just 2 teams in the study group one week, we could come and actually have a live work session study group. But I would want at least 6 people because I need 3 and 3.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if we could get pre-committed people, man, that'd be fun.
Yes, and so that's our goal really is let's get to that pre-subscribed state that'll have us build out a workshop from this. Nice. But now what I'd like to do is think about this. So given this distribution, and I guess right now this is our best model for it. Scott Silbernick did an actual diagram of this for us, but I don't have it right now. I don't know why. But based on this, we could start to say, okay, here are the things. And I'll tell you what I think are the initial early wins here, okay? Number 1, all of these APIs are written in RAML. And as you know, if you want to play in the agent game, your API specs need to be OAS, so you can use the hooks. Or not in the agent game, but if you want to do this with Salesforce Agentic Fabric, right, with interact with Einstein whatnot. You have to use OAS. If you want to be in API catalog, you're writing your spec in OAS. So one work session could be, how long would it take us to convert these? It might just be you take them from Anypoint Exchange and emit them as OAS. Probably that's okay because I didn't do anything fancy in here yet, right?
I have beef with that, and it's from Classroom.
Yeah.
I've been promoting OAS as equal to REMO, and as a language it is. And I've had multiple students, and now I've had a personal experience where the tooling at Anypoint does not allow you to use API Kit with OAS fragments, which makes me not want to build anything out of it.
Oh, you mean like, well, I did run into a problem when I wanted it to scaffold the
With fragments.
interface. Oh, that's where it fails?
It won't use
That's
fragments. Oh yeah, you can make them in Design Center. You can publish them to Exchange, but it won't do API Kit, which to me ruins it. Like that's a deal breaker. I need fragments.
Oh well, you components. But you know what? That actually maybe we might need to go and have a good study group around that, because when I didn't want to give up RAML. First of all, in 10 years, I've been telling people, no, this is better. You should use this. This is better, right? And now I'm going, forget what I said.
Well, they got the language up to snuff. OAS is good.
Yeah.
They got the language there. Anypoint, now MuleSoft did not get the product up to snuff for OAS because of API Kit. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back and experiment a little bit more with that to see where it breaks, because I haven't run into it. But the thing I do tell people about OAS, because we know that RAML still has an edge technologically, right? Because OAS does not allow for this really sublime element of RAML, which is the resource types, right?
Oh,
You can really collapse the size of your spec if you're using those, but there's no analog in OAS. On the other hand, what I tell people is, if you use OAS 3 and use OAS 3 with YAML, do not use OAS 3 with JSON. If you do that, it's just a dialect change for you, really, and you don't have a resource type. You have to use components, and I haven't yet figured out how to embed like additional documentation pages in my OAS, which is something I used to advocate a lot.
yeah.
Because that Exchange homepage that people go and they write some markdown and whatnot.
Well, so these are
That
both
gets stale.
things that if you wanted to take model networkers and migrate it to OAS, now you're going to we're putting ourselves in the soup.
Well, it's just an idea for a workshop on this, right? But what I would do is look at, I'd like to see what is the effort, what's the level of effort, and also where does that break, right? I suspect all of these migrate cleanly, but it's one of the things to do. Another place would be to just have a workshop where the only thing we do is make sure we have implementations for these three, which is the core data, right? And actually, I might have done this on these two. Delta was weird as I'll get out to build an implementation for it. But that's another. So what I would do is I would want to suggest that we do a series, maybe 4, maybe just 3, in which we do these hands-on workshops together. And it does require breakouts into teams. So
yeah, we would use Zoom
pre-subscription.
This video software doesn't have breakouts, so we would have to use Zoom, but we have Zoom. We can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, if we're going to do a remote workshop, we'll have to do something.
So I'm sorry I showed up late. The idea for this session was around application networks and models.
Yes, well, the idea of we're migrating forward to the threshold of our application network participating in the agentic age, right?
Yeah.
So as you know, if you want to be an API catalog, you're going to need OAS files because you need those tags. And also, this is an opportunity to do something that I've never been able to really get done, given the work I do, and that's to use the API visualizer, right?
Yeah, cool.
You need something to visualize, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So building something that each of us could do by ourselves gives us a foundation. So those would be some of the things I
think what I could do, I could make a call to action for those of you watching this on YouTube, which is probably whoever you are, you know who you are. If you would like to participate, there's a comment down below. If you don't know how to join us because you happen to find us randomly on YouTube, you just comment on it, and then we will see the comment, and then we will get in touch with you, and you can join us in the and do it with us. This doesn't have to be a one-way TV show. You can like come code with us. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Speaking of that, I wanted to drag RJ into this tussle, because what I think you can tell us, RJ, is a little bit more about the people who normally come to this. Like, what are they doing? What are they interested in? And most importantly, who is likely to say, "Oh, a hands-on workshop, I want to be in that"? So give us some names.
Yeah, it's a mixture. There's a lot of different people. We have our regulars that come. We've got like Evan, he's still here. Christian needed to drop for a meeting. And we've got Suma. We've got a lot of people that come on a regular basis, and they're really interested in what you're presenting on and what you're showing on today with the agentic, everything's going to. So it would be just a matter of, more people, because you're naming off a higher number of people. But they're definitely out there, and there's a lot of people showing up for the data relay that we're doing right now. So where they went to Dreaming and Data, did the data relay, that's big right now, and that's coming back in 2 weeks. And so there's a lot of interest in all this. So it's just going to be a matter of people seeing this video that you've done today, and like Ryan said, that's a great invite. Drop it in the comments and be watchful. Get in the emails, be watchful in your email inbox, and see when we be coming back for this workshop type thing. Because this is where everything is headed. So if everybody's smart, which they are, we're all here, we're trying to learn, they're going to be interested in it. I see a need for it for sure. I think it's a great idea. Okay. The big thing that I can say too is, like, everybody's really interested in seeing these study groups build. So I think that's why the data relay has done so well, because it came in as part 1 of 3. Well, then by the time we're doing the third one, we were already announcing, all right, this is part 3 of 5. And then at the end of today's session, I'm actually announcing that it's part 6. Like, it's increased. Suma did a special request. I'll go ahead and say it now. She wanted to see where Slack is integrated with MuleSoft. So a couple of weeks back, Allie did actually it was just last week, Allie did Slack integrated with Tableau. And then Angela's going to pick that up in 2 weeks. And then we're having Allie come back. Allie's said she would, which is awesome. And we're going to do part 6 in July. So, like, I think that people are just enjoying seeing this progression. So what you've come and done today, I could see a need for a progression and a workshop and everything. So it's just, come on, y'all do what Ryan said and let us know.
There you go. Like and subscribe.
I hate saying that because it's so cliche. Everybody says it. And plus, in the comments, I'm always big on the comments, and I'm always big on the feedback, because that is what lets us know what you're needing. Let us know what's helpful to you. Let us know what you're working on. Let us know what we can come back with and help you in your work and in what you're doing. We don't want to just be doing this just because we're doing it. We don't want to just make noise. We really want to be helping people. So yeah, totally.
This group is really quite fortunate to have someone with that vision at the center of it, because every time I do business with anybody, the one thing I want more than anything else is that they listen to me. Just listen. And I know RJ and Ryan and Diane always are listening and looking for what will make a difference. So
absolutely.
So
I'm thankful to be a part of this. I'm a small part, but I'm still so happy to be a part of it. That's what I said at the last MuleSoft meetup that we went to in Atlanta, is I'm just happy to be here. And I enjoy doing this. It gives me accountability every week to be coming in and learning something. I have a very busy physical life. And if it wasn't for some kind of like, hey, I need to show up and I need to stay sharp on everything that's going on, I would, fall behind. So it helps me, and I'm glad that it helps others as well, for sure.
It's really big of you to confess that, because it's me too that way. If I have a curtain time, I'm there. But if I have a project, I have like 3 weeks to work on. That's a different thing. So it's how we are sometimes. So let's do this, you guys. In fact, what I want to do is sort of wrap up here just with that final call to action. If we can find the people that want to do this, take this on as a challenge, all of us will learn something. I'll learn something because that's why I want to do this. I want to see what happens to us, right? The family doesn't like me planning vacations that way, but this is okay. It's okay in this case. RJ, I think you had some other stuff you wanted to announce, or maybe you just did.
Yeah, I will. If you're done and you're good, and that was awesome, by the way. Thank you for coming and sharing that with us today. And we're watching out for the call to action. Y'all bring it on in, and come on with it. We're ready for you, and we'd love to be able to do the workshop thing. That sounds exciting. I'd love to see it. I want to go ahead and just say there is also going to be somebody coming back and presenting next week. So it's going to be Ryan, and he's working on the topic. So there's hand raising. So
I gotta look and see what we've been doing, and I try to keep it mixed up for you guys. I mean, especially when we're doing data relay. I kind of want to use the in-betweens to have some more variety. So I have to think about what to present. I think the last time I did one it was Maven, so probably not something quite so nuts and bolts would be good next time. You know what I mean?
That's what I love about this. So over the weekend, if anybody watching this is having an idea in your mind that you would be like, just Ryan would be excellent for this, like come on, let us know. Please hit me up on Slack, put it in the YouTube comment, and we'll get it working. It's so cool because then we've got Ryan, who is instructor and busy, and he's going to be able to come to you and help you out with something that you need help with. So
if you send it in, what could be your thing? Maybe your one little weird thing that you have to face at work. We could do a whole study group on it.
That's right. Perfect timing. So there's an opportunity, and if not, he'll work it up. But thank you again, Vincent, for being here with us.
Thanks,
we really appreciate you. I'm going to hit the stop recording button now, and we'll just chit chat or whatever we need to do. But thank you all for coming, and